Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. So, Terence Crawford, plot still thickening with a lot of people out here. You know, of course, they're taking a side between Spence and Crawford and who caused the fight to fall apart. But like I said, once Crawford went live, he opened himself up to a lot of people just kind of poking him in the eye and just looking for pitfalls in his delivery and just trying to put the blame on him. And that's kind of what happens. People go on the defensive, and boxing fans, especially these guys who are Errol Spence fans, man, they start digging, and they start coming up with stuff to kind of, build their case or their position to make them look like they're the ones who are being done wrong, and you're the one who's the villain. So there was an article that was put out that actually talked a little bit about Crawford and an unusual request he made. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. You can follow along, and then we'll talk about it real briefly. So in regards to the article, it says Crawford, according to sources involved with the fight, Crawford wanted transparency regarding financings. Okay? So regarding those finances, he wanted transparency, including how much money the event generated to ensure his purse percentage payment was an accurate reflection of the fight's success. Now, me personally, I don't think that's unreasonable. But it goes on to say he was going to get transparency throughout, a source told Insider, adding that Crawford made an unusual, okay, keyword unusual, request to also oversee the marketing expenditure for the show. Now, I don't know anything about marketing expenditures, but he asked to see that too. A boxer usually does not get involved on this side, as their focus is to train and fight rather than to sign off on, say, $200,000 worth of expenses, right? That could include things like press tours, free airline tickets for fighter teams, and so on. According to a source with knowledge of the negotiation, PBC nevertheless agreed and sent Crawford an updated contract after granting his final request. However, Crawford never responded. So there's a couple of issues I have with what they say here. It says in the third paragraph, a boxer usually does not get involved on this side. Well, he's a boxer, but he's also representing himself. It really sounds like Crawford is really his own boss. So he's obviously learned something about being a promoter, being a manager, being an advisor, and he knows what it is to be on the side as a fighter. And it sounds to me like his request wasn't unreasonable. But like I said this in another video, it still sounds to me like they kind of weren't taking him serious. You know, they just see him as a fighter. And I think, again, he's going to get some experience here. And I think other people who are trying to make fights with him are going to learn that this man is kind of the captain of his own ship. And he moves at the beat of his own drum now. And they're going to have to work with him. They're going to have to take him serious. And they're going to have to either, meet his request or ignore him. And that's just business. But the other thing I'll say is with Crawford, you can tell with Crawford that he doesn't trust anyone. You know, he there's no trust there. I.e. Bob Arum lawsuit, okay, a top-ranked lawsuit. Obviously, Bud Crawford has experienced some things that, we're not really privy to, that resulted in him handling business the way he handled with Errol Spence, and probably will continue to handle business this way in subsequent negotiations. And I understand, because there was a lot of money that he's saying in the lawsuit he was promising he never received. And I'm sure Bob Arum, if there's any truth to that, I'm sure there were conversations and certain things he was told where he just took somebody's word for it. It ended up in the long run, he felt like, he feels like he was being burnt. As a result, he doesn't want to go through that. So his first negotiation here, trying to make the Spence fight, he was very meticulous, very particular. It's very painstaking working with him, so it seems. So going forward, I could kind of see both sides of the argument, because this article, again, look at what this person says. According to sources involved with the fight. Okay? So again, they're not saying who's saying it. This is all subjective. This is all word of mouth type stuff, which is what most of what everybody reports. But you can't take something like this and go and say that this is fact, right? This is just somebody who obviously is just a rumor, man. You know what I'm saying? But this whole thing about according to a source with knowledge of a negotiation, I mean, hey, man, this shit can't be proven. You know what I mean? But Crawford not responding, I think that's true that he just didn't respond, because he said he moved on. And I can understand why he didn't respond, because obviously he's trying to get certain things done and things are dragging on. And, it just sounds like a serious communication breakdown between both sides. And then he goes, and when I talk about communication breakdown, I just totally ceased once he made his mind up to move forward and fight somebody else. So yeah, it may seem unfair, but at the end of the day, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, and I don't blame Crawford for going and taking the Venecian fight. I do think that no matter how frustrated you are with someone, communication is key. Just let them know, hey, look, this thing is dragging. It is what it is. I'm going to take this fight. Let's pick up after the fight, or after your fight, and see if we can make things happen. And I think that's what should have happened. Just like I'm 100% sure Crawford wasn't being taken serious by the other side. I'm 100% sure of that. But going forward, people are going to take him serious. And, sometimes you just have to put your foot down. But then again, at the same time, I can see how fans, Spence and Crawford, are frustrated with the opposing side. But I can also see the fans collectively just being frustrated with both guys, because they can't be professional enough to get past the petty stuff and had given us this fight in 2022. So it is what it is. But that being said, man, any other updates I get with this Crawford and Spence stuff, I'll be sharing it with you. As always, shout out to all 7 continents. Shout out to the veterans. Appreciate the support. And I am in the breeze.